Check out Paddy Power's new and exclusive Cash Card Plus, available to use online, at ATMs or even down the local. Paddy Power, you beauty.
Hello and welcome to Friday's Tipping Postcast on the sofa. I'm joined by Graham Wadway, I'm Maddie Plale, and we've got David Jennings and Frank Hickey across the Irish Sea. Looking forward to Irish Champions Weekend. It looks an absolute cracker at the Curragh and Leopardstown. But first, we've got shed loads to cover over in England this weekend. Haydock, Ascot, Kempton, it's all kicking off all over the country. We're going to jump straight into it, guys, with the Sprint Cup at Haydock at 2:25, part of the British Champion Series, of course. Right, a big thing has been made of the rain this week, and a lot of supports come for Brando. Frank, can you just refresh us on the market, please?
Yeah, Harry Angel's favourite still at 2-1, Brando 3-1, Tasleet 5-1, the Tin Man 7-1, Blue Point 10-1, Magical Memories 12s or 20s bar.
OK, Graham, kick us off. What do you reckon? Do you think the rain will make that much difference to Harry Angel's chances?
We don't know, really, because he's unproven on any softer than good to soft. I think he'll be all right if it stays good to soft, but there has to be huge doubts about that.
Yeah,
I mean, there's loads of rain around, isn't there? And we know what it gets like at Haydock when it really tips it down. It can get very, very testing. They've even moved the race forward, haven't they, to make it the third race on the card, so they try and get some better ground there. So that's seen Harry Angel drift for, I think he was around about 5-4 early in the week. He's now about 2-1. I still don't think he's value at that, given the doubts over the ground.
OK, so who would you pick as an alternative then?
Well, obviously the money's come for Brando, but he does love soft ground, and he was impressive when winning in France last time, but I think the price has gone with him now. I'd be prepared to give Tasleet another chance. He was so impressive at York on really soft ground. He then was arguably a little bit unlucky next time at Ascot, and I think you've got to forgive him that one poor run at Newmarket. It was nowhere near his form.
Yeah, I mean, I'm a big fan of Tasleet, and I think Haggis was never really wanting to run him in the July Cup on that track, on that ground. So he could bounce back. David, what do you reckon of this Sprint Cup?
Well, my riding instructions were very clear before we came on air, and I was told to shut up unless you have anything very important to say, and don't be rabbiting on because we're going to be here all day, which I think was very, very harsh. But I think this race is reasonably simple. I think Harry Angel will probably win. Like, it was good to soft last season when he won at Newbury that day. That it was reasonably soft. I thought there was more soft in it than good that day. I think he'll just about cope, but I think it's a two-horse race between him and Tasleet. I think you can forget Tasleet's performance in the July Cup. That wasn't him. And even listening to William Haggis interviewed yesterday, he knows that wasn't him. I know Frank the Tank is a huge fan of Tasleet, and you just go back to that performance at York back in May on soft ground, and it was breathtaking. It really was. He hammered Magical Memory, and I think I would be really, really surprised if either Harry Angel or Tasleet didn't win. So therefore, I will probably back Tasleet without Harry Angel, because I don't fancy Brando. I think he's underpriced. OK, we're all big Tasleet fans then. Frank, quickly, anything to add from you? Would you be on Tasleet as well?
Well, the way I looked at it, Jamie, who's my boss, is an expert on everything, but particularly weather and going descriptions, and he's predicted heavy going for Haydock, which would be a little bit of a concern for Harry Angel, but I'll tell you something, he's the best sprinter by a mile. If he handles the ground, he will win. But if you're looking for the safe bet, Tasleet each way, worst case scenario, you get your money back, and if Harry Angel doesn't handle the ground, he'll be the one to win. I think Brando's a shocking price. I priced it up myself last night, and I was way bigger than what he is there, so hopefully we'll be pushing him out later, trying to fill up on him. I wouldn't like him. And simply, for anyone who likes him, in France he won impressively, but he still only beat Acclaim and 2P. And I'll ask you this question, what price would they be in this race? They'd be a huge price. Don't go near him.
OK, strong advice from Frank there. Right, we're going to move straight on to the listed Ascendant Stakes at 150. This is quite an interesting affair. We've got Dubhe, who is out of Great Heavens, who won the Irish Oaks. You'll remember her. So he's really well bred, Godolphin horse. Martin Mead's Chilean, and a load more. Frank, we'll go to you again first and just get the betting on this one.
It's about the only race we don't have priced off, Maddie.
So no, right. Well, we're just going to have selections regardless then, G-Rod. What did you reckon?
I like Learn by Heart for William Haggis. I think it was impressive second time out, and then run up against a decent bunch last time out, beaten by Hagerman. I think that form is by far the best on offer. Obviously, he's taken on a couple of interesting unexposed types, Dubber, as you say, and DXB, who's a huge talking horse, isn't he? I mean, the money poured in for him at Goodwood in massive disappointment last time out. York probably wasn't his form. Maybe he got Yorked, as they say. But I think that Learn by Heart is going to be the bet for me, because I think that it'll be a bigger price than DXB. So I still expect DXB to be favourite.
Really? Well, that, like you say, often reputation goes with these things. Learn by Heart, I'm not sure if it's worth much, but obviously Another Bat won in Turkey, so that's boosted that form as well.
Indeed.
Yeah, okay. David, what about you?
Guess what, Maddie? I haven't got a clue, so you can go on to Frank.
Yay, right. So we've all got to back Learn by Heart in that one. At 3 o'clock we have...
Can I just say...
Oh, go on, sorry, Frank.
No, see, he's worse than me.
I wouldn't be backing Learn by Heart myself. DXB, you can put a line through York run. Mark Johnson, there's a handy tool on Time Form that tells you their run to form percentage, and his run to form percentage at York is quite low. So you'd easily forgive on him. DXB will go off fab, but Dark Acclaim is one that's out of I think it's a 1 mile 6 mare, and he was very impressive at Doncaster and soft ground over 7 the last day. Step up to a mile will only help him, I'd imagine. He beat a Michael Stout horse into second, 3.5 lengths. That's come out in 1 since, and the third has come out in 1 since. And I'd say he'll be a fair price. I'd be having a small bit on him.
What price do you reckon he would be?
I think he could be 92, 5 to 1.
92? Okie dokie. Sorry about that, Frank, cut you
Yeah, no
off. Moving on to the 3 o'clock Be-Friendly handicap. I believe Soir de l'Eau won this last year. He's in again. We've got Holmeswood, who won the hat-trick last time. G-Rod, go to you again first.
Yeah, I think it was similar conditions last year, wasn't it? I think it was really testing, and Soir de l'Eau loves it, doesn't he? He does love it, and it's an interesting booking. Silvestre de Souza for Kristin Stubbs. I'd go with him to go for the repeat. I tipped Confessional last week when he ran at Chester and he got caught wide. I think he's capable better as well, but I'm going to go with Soir de l'Eau to make it back-to-back wins.
Okay, Frank, what price can we get on Soir de l'Eau and the remainder?
Soir de l'Eau is 8 to 1, but our favourite is Holmeswood at 7 to 2, Midnight Malibu 15 to 2, Boom the Groom, Soir de l'Eau, and Main Leaf Shine 8 to 1, Copper Knight 10 to 1 on our Reflector, and we're 11 spare.
Excellent. Dave, can this get you talking at all?
No, I didn't study this one either. There's about a million races, and I was told to keep it. So I picked out about maybe 10 races to go through. This wasn't one of them.
Okay, Frank, can you make up for that one?
Holmeswood won at York last time, and he's got £5 penalty. He dead heated actually with a stablemate, Intense Romance. And obviously he looks progressive. He's going for a 4-timer here, and you would be surprised if he did it. But in that race, it was a massive eye catcher for me. The draw played a huge part at York. The first 4 home that day were drawn 8, 3, 6 and 4, but Main Leaf Shine was drawn 19, completely away from the action, and no chance from the draw. But he ran on into 5th, beaten, I think it was about 4 or 5 lengths in the end, but he had no chance from the draw. He was only touched off in Musselburgh the time before, beating a short head, I think. And they're the 2 runs with the headgear. Now, he handles soft ground, no problem. He's actually been dropped a pound from York while Holmes has gone up to 5. He's a massive chance. We're 8 to 1. There's as big as 12 out there. He's an each-way bet, definitely. Okay,
cracking. We'll move on to the 3:35:32 Red Mile now, registered as the Superior Mile Stakes. It's a Group 3. Mitcham Swagger, I mean, he came second last year. We've also got Ballyconcerto, Ben Battle and Flaming Spear, who's obviously graduating from Handicap Company after winning at York. I think this is a really interesting betting heat, Frank. What did you make of it?
Oh yeah, it's very tough. Mirando's 9 to 2 favourite, just about. Mitcham Swagger, Ben Battle 5 to 1, Ballyconcerto 11 to 2, Sovereign Debt 6 to 1, Flaming Spear 13 to 2, and we're 8 spare.
Are you still sleeping with Flame and Spear, Frank?
Oh, don't talk to me. Like, he's in the smallest bet of the 4 runs he's been entering this year, and he pisses up. Broke my heart. But
about £3,000.
Pardon?
That's about £3,000.
I'm still down, would you believe, on him. So yeah, he's heartbreaking. Look, I think he needs cut, but I'm not sure he wants it like a bog either. If I was... Look, Mitcham Swagger will handle a bog. It's not a race I'd be gone on. There's question marks about a lot of them on those conditions. But like Mitcham Swagger ran the conditions race at Thirsk. He might have got his confidence boosted. He wore cheek pieces there for the first time. They seem to work. He wears them again if they have the same effect. You can't see him being out of the 3 really with it being so testing.
Do you not think something could improve past him?
Oh, definitely. But the problem is, like, something more than likely is. But then again, there's a question mark about so many of them on the ground that you just know he'll run to 11. It's not unbelievably high or anything, but it might be enough. Do you know, like, that's the way I'm looking at it. Like, I priced it this morning, and, like, I think Flaming Spear will win one of these at some stage, but I prefer him on maybe no worse than soft ground.
Okay.
But I think yeah, if it gets too heavy, I just leave him alone tomorrow.
Okay.
I think that big handicap at the Balmoral at the end of the year would be one for Flaming Spear. I'd be giving him
Okay, nice
that.
anti-post tip there. David, did you look at this one?
I did. I
Hurrah!
gave this a right study, so I did. So put on the kettle there and have a cup of tea.
Make up for it.
Yeah. I think this is quite shrewd what Saeed bin Surur has done here with Ben Battle. I think the drop and trip should be fine, and I think he's in a different league to these. I think he's very, very close to being a Group 1 horse, and possibly when things go right, he is a Group 1 horse. Like, he was 5th in the Derby, and he's loads of pace. I don't think any of these could perform to the level that he's been performing at. He's the highest rated in the field, and go back to his mile form. It's pretty strong. Like, he was beaten 2 lengths by Eminent in the Craven, and then he went on to the Dante at York. He was beaten 3/4 of a length by Permian. He's loads of pace, and I think he'll handle the ground. It was good to Soft that day in the Dante. And I just think it'll turn into more of a stamina test on the ground, and I think he will cope better. I think 6-1 is a huge prize. I thought he was about a 7-2 shot or 4-1 shot.
That's what I like to hear. A bit of confidence, I think he could. I think you're right. He could have that class edge. Graham, what about you?
Yeah, I think it's an extremely difficult race to weigh up at this stage because it's very much a ground race. If it gets extremely heavy, then Mitcham Swagger will be very, very difficult to beat. But I can't believe he'll be good enough to win unless it's really bog-like.
Yeah, I think I'm in the same camp.
In which case, I'm with David if it's not bog-like, because I think that Ben Battle was very impressive when winning at Royal Ascot, and he's taken a huge drop in class. I think he contested the King George, didn't he, last time out? And I thought it was a bit of a lively outsider that day.
He didn't run that badly, did he?
Yeah, he ran okay.
He ran quite well, yeah, and that was a much better race than this. I mean, he's down in trip, but we're expecting the ground to be on the soft side of good, so that should bring his stamina into play, and I think he'll go really well. The other one that's worth a mention is Ballet Concerto. I know there's a lot of people that think that he likes better ground, but to my eye, he's got a real knee action, and I think he'll be well suited by soft ground, and he also stays further. But I like Ben Battle.